Kabuki relies on showmanship, skills, so the kind of skills that are vivid, very loud, elaborate costumes, makeup, and highly stylized movement that is influenced by Ningyo, Joruri, or Bunraku we had in a previous lesson. And of course, up-to-date stage technology. So stage technology is really important. Stage can change from scene to scene. The whole set can change in an instant. It's really incredible to see. I have a short performance here for you. This is a drama, The Love Suicide of Hoshinoya. Kabuki is not, well, you can find many different kinds of kabuki performances, but you can find very funny ones, you can find serious kabuki performance, but surely you will not be bored during kabuki performance. So this is a performance that is in the presentation, but this presentation you can also find in the MS files, MS Teams files. So if there will be an issue or something with viewing this performance, you can view it after lesson, or if you like to view it in full. This particular video, it's 6 minutes. We're not going to watch 6 minutes. You can watch after lesson as well. You can see famous actors coming on stage. You can see the background. It looks like anime-like background, right? Like hand-drawn. The whole scenery can be changed very quickly. I've seen 5 changes of scenery, the total scenery during one kabuki performance, which is really incredible. This is the love story about two people, and the man would have an idea to commit suicide by jumping off the bridge, but the lady does not really want to do that, and she thinks what to do to avoid this kind of life. And then she's talking with her mother. Her mother has an idea that when they will be jumping, she will jump backwards towards the bridge, and he will jump to the bridge. I mean, through the bridge to the river. So everything worked fine until the moment best friend came to this lady and said that he had a dream, that his friend came to him in a dream and said that he's going to hunt this lady. Pretty much he's going to be there every single day, every single night, because she betrayed, and they plan. And here we have the spirit comes. And that's the ghost. It's pretty funny actually to watch this performance, especially the elaborate planning beforehand, and you can see you have some sort of translation there as well. That's on the main website in the National Theatre. So the dynamic change of set, revolving platforms, and the trapdoors are creative ways to highlight appearances and disappearances of the actors. A key element of kabuki stage is a footbridge, which is called Hanamichi. Hana, flowers, Michi, way, road. So you've got flowers, the road of flowers, Hanamichi, which extends through the audience, and the actors can make dynamic entrance or exit through the audience. The audience is not silent either. In the key moments, of course, known to the audience, when the actors strike a symbolic pose and they freeze, and the audience members shout, "This is what I've been waiting for," or "wonderful," or in Japanese, "umai," or any other words. And this is the applause. This is the place where the applause will come. So we have to know which particular moments we can shout something. But then those are skilled audience members, so they know exactly when is the moment not to interrupt in the play, but they should be they should be shouting something. So we've got active audience. Well, this is a traditional practice, and it adds a lot to the atmosphere. It stimulates both the actors and the rest of the spectators. The actors on Kabuki stage, they are superstars pretty much. They are everywhere. Currently, they're everywhere you can see them in TV, you can see them in movies, you can see them on stage. So when you have appearance of that kind of superstar, this kind of actor, you will have someone shouting from the audience, "I've been waiting for you." So this is really great experience. So since the place from which the audience calls out is in the third floor and far away from the stage, the people who call out are called omuko. In other words, far away. So you can see the stage here, you can see a person on Hanamichi. You can see the elaborate set. In some performances, that will be actually real water on stage. And one of the most famous changes of set is when the set revolves pretty much, and from a house you can see another house. This kind of change of sets developed since the 17th century, so we can see really a lot here, how it's changing. The theatre craft, you can see persons suspended on top of the audience. So live music is also present on stage. Live music was present on stage in which kind of theatre? Do you remember previously?
Bunraku, yes, previously.
Yes. What kind of instruments did we have in Bunraku theatre?
Mm.
Do you remember?
Shinsen? Something like that?
Shamisen. Good. And in Kumiodori, the same kind of instrument, but a little bit changed. I mean, the previous version of this instrument was called
Sanchin.
Sanshin. Yes, well done. Ichi, san, sanshin, sanshin. And when it was important to Japan, it was called shamisen. In Kabuki performance, you would have shamisen as well. And also, you will have two wooden blocks that pretty much make the kind of empty sound when you smash them together. So live music is important, and plots are based on bunraku plays, usually about historical events, love stories, moral conflicts, and other well-known stories. So Kabuki is always evolving, and it's widely accessible to the international audience through headsets, English translation, and explanation of the story. So before you actually watch a Kabuki performance, you can read about the story. Usually you should know the performance before you actually going to watch it. So you will know how the story will develop, what you can expect. So that this is a practice that is universal in Japanese theater. So Kabuki is evolving. Can you recognize this set? What character it could be?
Something like a devil, demon.
Yes, but
Something
more
like-
recent. Can you recognize the story? Maybe the salt. The salt is similar to.
To a cross.
Good, well done.
So
Okay. Yes, in the recent cinema production, you had the salt in.
I'm gonna say Star Wars, but
Well done, Star Wars. So
yes.
good job. I'm so proud of you that you said that. So Star Wars, yes. So Kabuki, there was in 2019, there was a Kabuki performance. In December 2019, there was a Kabuki performance in Tokyo, but it was live streamed online to the audience around the world, so we could all watch it at the same time as it was presented in Tokyo. So Kabuki is always adapting to new technology and new things, having in mind the traditional form. So this is the presentation. This is the Star Wars, Kabuki Star Wars. Short introduction. You can see the detail in costume. It's incredible. Stage background. And this is an interesting scene. So who is the character? Who is the main character here?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. So he strikes a pose. You can hear the audience reacting. And in a moment, you will see the acrobatic skills. So it is highly stylized. As for fighting scene, this is highly stylized.
Yes, it is. Very.
Sorry, you don't have acrobatic skills in this particular scene. It can happen that you have people jumping really high and they can do turns in a scene. You will have musicians here as well, performing live. It's shamisen. and so on and so forth. If you want to watch it in the full version, it's about 40 minutes. The actual performance starts after 10 minutes introduction, so it's about 30 minutes. You can watch it later during, after the class if you like. So Kabuki, the name Kabuki is from the word kabuku, which means something strange, not common, out of the ordinary. So kabuki is written in this particular way. You have 3 syllables here, kabuku, kabuki, kabuki. So the first kanji, you've got 3 kanji here, kabuki. So the first one on the left-hand side, ka, it's a song, something, the kanji represents the sound, song of ka, which is, yeah, the meaning is a song. The one in the middle is bu, which is dance. And the last one is the skill, which is the kind of skill the kabuki performers will have, the showmanship, deed. But the sound, there is something interesting. The individual kanji characters from left to right, sing, dance, and skill, do not really match the real etymology of the word, because the kabuki sometimes is translated as the art of singing and dancing. However, these are ateji characters which do not reflect actual etymology. Ateji characters, I'm going to explain, are the kind of characters that reflect how the word will sound like. So we've got the 3 characters that represent how the word will sound like, that represent the song, the word, but the real etymology is from the word kabuku, which means outstanding, something not ordinary, unusual. Okay, so just to check if that is clear, kabuki, the word, where does it come from?
The word that means strange.
Well done. But here we have song, dance, and skill. How does it relate to the original meaning of kabuki?
Was there's like singing and dancing involved?
Yes, but that came later. The writing of the word kabuki came later. The real meaning, where the name comes from, is from this particular word, kabuku. So I know it's a bit unusual here, but I think it's really interesting. So even though it is written as sing, dance, and skill, the real meaning is outstanding, unusual, strange. So we've got a short video about the history of kabuki in animated form. It's about 4 minutes.
Many elements of traditional Japanese culture, such as cuisine and martial arts, are well known throughout the world. Kabuki, a form of classical theater performance, may not be as well understood in the West, but has evolved over 400 years to still maintain influence and popularity to this day. The word kabuki is derived from the Japanese verb kabuku, meaning out of the ordinary or bizarre. Its history began in early 17th century Kyoto, where a shrine maiden named Izumo no Okuni would use the city's dry Kamo riverbed as a stage to perform unusual dances for passerby, who found her daring parodies of Buddhist prayers both entertaining and mesmerizing. Soon other troupes began performing in the same style, and Kabuki made history as Japan's first dramatic performance form catering to the common people. By relying on makeup, or kesho, and facial expressions instead of masks, and focusing on historical events and everyday life rather than folk tales, Kabuki set itself apart from the upper-class dance theater form known as no, and provided a unique commentary on society during the Edo period. At first, the dance was practiced only by females, and commonly referred to as onakabuki. It soon evolved to an ensemble performance, and became a regular attraction at tea houses, drawing audiences from all social classes. At this point, onakabuki was often risque, as geishas performed not only to show off their singing and dancing abilities, but also to advertise their bodies to potential clients. A ban by the conservative Tokugawa shogunate in 1629 led to the emergence of wakashu kabuki, with young boys as actors. But when this was also banned, for similar reasons, there was a transition to yaro kabuki, performed by men, necessitating elaborate costumes and makeup for those playing female roles, or onagata. Attempts by the government to control kabuki didn't end with bans on the gender or age of performers. The Tokugawa military group, or bakufu, was fueled by Confucian ideals and often enacted sanctions on costume fabrics, stage weaponry, and the subject matter of the plot. At the same time, kabuki became closely associated with and influenced by bunraku, an elaborate form of puppet theater. Due to these influences, the once spontaneous one-act dance evolved into a structured five-act play, often based on the tenets of Confucian philosophy. Before 1868, when the Tokugawa shogunate fell and Emperor Meiji was restored to power, Japan had practiced isolation from other countries, or sakoku, and thus the development of kabuki had mostly been shaped by domestic influences. But even before this period, European artists, such as Claude Monet, had become interested in and inspired by Japanese art, such as woodblock prints, as well as live performance. After 1868, others, such as Vincent van Gogh and composer Claude Debussy, began to incorporate kabuki influences in their work, while kabuki itself underwent much change and experimentation to adapt to the new modern era. Like other traditional art forms, kabuki suffered in popularity in the wake of World War II, but innovation by artists such as director Tetsuji Takechi led to a resurgence shortly after. Indeed, kabuki was even considered a popular form of entertainment amongst American troops stationed in Japan, despite initial US censorship of Japanese traditions. Today, kabuki still lives on as an integral part of Japan's rich cultural heritage, extending its influence beyond the stage to television, film, and anime. The art form pioneered by Okuni continues to delight audiences with the actors' elaborate makeup, extravagant and delicately embroidered costumes, and the unmistakable melodrama of the stories told on stage.
Okay, so what is the history of kabuki?
So it originated from like it was supposed to be a public performance, like these weird dances that people could see, but they were like at first like mocking Buddhist prayers, and they were also like commenting on stuff that's like going on right now. So this was like a theater for people that's for like everyday people. But then it was only preferred by women at first. So and it was thought that it was that because they were also like showing their dance and singing skills, and also like advertising their body. Then it was performed. So it was banned. Then it was performed by like young boys. It was banned from the same reasons. Then it was performed by like men. And when they were playing like women characters, they were supposed to like wear a lot of makeup and stuff.
They would in any character anyway. Well done.
Yeah.
Did it stop the prostitution here?
Not at all.
Not at all. No, only after Second World War you have the disconnection between kabuki and prostitution. So interesting, right? It's the theater form rooted somewhere in the city culture for the people, for the ordinary people. So why no theater is not that accessible to the ordinary people? Why do you think no theater is different?
Because it was made with a thought for aristocrats, I would say.
You had a secret stage. You had a stage for the gods, right? Where it was supported by the state. Do you think it was easy to understand no performance?
You would have to be educated to understand the old Japanese language.
Yeah. Yes, you'll have to be educated to understand what is going on stage and why those particular actors moving in this particular way. And to recognize the skill, you have to know at least a couple of performances. So you have to be accustomed to this particular style. While in Kabuki, the situation is a little bit different. Kabuki is straightforward, can represent the stories that are regular everyday stories. They're not the folk tales or from the far past, from the historical tales, but they are the kind of everyday dramas that people actually face. So originally, as you mentioned, Kabuki was acted by women. It was more of a dance, like a freestyle dance, pretty much. It was a popular theater for the common people. It was dynamic, entertaining. The dancers were also advertising not only themselves, but also the tea house they're working at. So later in the Edo period, during the Tokugawa shogunate, female dancers were forbidden. Then male came on stage, male dancers, young male dancers were also forbidden to dance, and we had male dancers. But the situation didn't change. The environment was open for fluid gender roles, and only in the 19th and 20th century, Kabuki was, as an art form, was separated from the need to have a financial support by a person. But the actors are still superstars, so they have this kind of status. The Kabuki actors who specialize in the female roles are called onnagata. So the men specializing in female roles, onnagata. The choice of the character, however, does not automatically represent the actor within the actor's personal preference. It's just the way the actor would perform, and they will have different types of movement, which is planned and stylized. And Kabuki actors change many roles during one performance. However, onnagata will have the female roles because they move in a particular way in terms of coming from the shoulder moves in particular. They are always diagonal to the stage, and they have so many different aspects of the role. We will learn more about it later in the video about a famous Kabuki actor, Yunosuke III. So we'll see how Kabuki actors getting ready. And by the way, the idea about what is wrong, what is not wrong in the Japanese society was a little bit different than in European society, and it changed only after Westernization only after the Western nation came to Japan in the end of 19th century and the 20th century. So the society looked a little bit different, had different customs. So here in this link, you can catch a glimpse on the transition to a female role. Kabuki actor is getting ready. So pretty much every kabuki actor would apply their own makeup, which they learn from, usually they would learn from their father or master. Later, they will get help in getting into kimono. So we'll see how it looks like on the end. Here we go. So
hey, I
for
saw
the
that you checked
person,
out my Rapid Crawl Fitness program.
So as you can see, they apply their own makeup. If you'd like to see in detail how it looks like, you will have the link in the presentation. Kumadori makeup, that's the name of the makeup. One characteristic style of kabuki makeup is called kumadori, in which the color and the way of painting the lines changes according to the role. So from the left, we have red. From the left here, we have red for young person, for justice, for anger, for strength, especially in Aragato style plays, which Aragato is the kind of dynamic revenge kind of play. So the more red you have on face, it's pretty much the more angry the face would, the person, the character would be. So from the next one is indigo for a villain or evil spirit. And then we have brown for supernatural demons and ghosts. And you can also have unique style representing, let's say, facial hair representing different features of the face as well. So you see when you are really angry, you will have veins on your face to represent this kind of angry state. You will have makeup that looks like veins on the face. I've got real images here applying this kind of makeup. This is Hanya, kabuki representation of Hanya. So you can see the Hanya is reappearing in every single theater style that we talk about. Got different shapes here. Like for example, in the last one, you have special feature makeup. And in the last one here on the right hand side, you have Shibaraku. That's a hero that comes at the very last moment. Something bad will happen and the hero will come at the very last moment and will say Shibaraku, which was pretty much, wait a minute. And the hero would save the day. Here is a classical Shibaraku moment when the person will strikes a pose in the after saying Shibaraku, wait a minute, and then you have fight scene. While watching kabuki performance, we can notice stage hands wearing black clothes, and they are called kuroko. You can see here on this picture, you've got one person, an actor, and two stage hands. Can you recognize any resemblance to any other theater style?
To
That's an easy-
Bunraku.
Bunraku, yes, that's an easy question here. Yes, Bunraku, but in Bunraku we could actually see the master puppeteers working on a puppet. Here we have the actor who is the star, but the stage hands would pretty much do everything on stage, but we choose not to see them in a way that they are on stage. They're moving things, they correct kimonos, they bring things, so we can see them very often. So all Kabuki actors have a yago, hereditary stage name. The audience shows the favorite actor's name in the right timing as a sign of appreciation for the talent and support. The families are related to masters, troops, and they're present throughout the generation in families. For example, Yunosuke. And here we've got very famous actor, Yunosuke III. The lineage of actors goes really long way back. So pretty much you have actors such as Yunosuke. You could have lineage of his acting goes hundreds of years.
Ennosuke Ichikawa, Kabuki actor, the third in his line to hold the given name of Ennosuke. And Ichikawa, his family name, is one of the greatest in the Kabuki and one of the oldest. Ennosuke, though one of the finest of classical Kabuki actors, is unique in that he's equally interested in both popularizing the art and in reviving the older plays and the older styles of the Kabuki tradition. One such indication of this is his revival of Date no Juyaku, an 1815 drama which has not been seen on the Kabuki stage for over a century and a half. The reason for this neglect is, as the title indicates, a single actor must play 10 different roles in this drama about the conflict among the retainers of the Date family. This involves a
So one actor would play 10 roles in that difficult drama. And as you can see in the chain, in between acts, he's painting his face. He's changing all the clothes.
vast
He's
number
painting.
of wig and costume changes, some of which we're seeing now, and in addition, involves the most versatile possible of acting styles.
There is no time to make mistakes.
In Ennosuke's wish to revive older plays, make the Kabuki more appreciable to the modern man and to popularize it, there is an implicit criticism. Kabuki, like any elder art, like the opera in the West, for example, tends to petrify, to fossilize, to become rigid, and hence fail to exhibit that vitality which is its whole reason for being. Only few of the Kabuki actors seem aware of this, but Ennosuke is certainly one of them. While maintaining a perfect classic Kabuki style, he wants to enlarge both the repertoire and the appreciation of his art. Hence, among other things, this revival of Date no Juyaku.
So we could see this is his real face. Here we have a very quick change of.
Perhaps the single scene requiring the greatest deftness is a change of role, right in front of the audience's eyes. Ennosuke turns from a samurai to a monk using only a Japanese umbrella as prop. The actor is given just over 2 seconds to complete this change.
So the actor would change very quickly. Would change not only the sets, not only makeup, but also the way the actor would move. So kabuki performances can be long, can take up to 10 hours, but that entirely depends on the particular performance. The audience usually knows the play before they come. The formal dress is not required to watch the performance, but decent clothes and footwear are recommended, of course. Some audience members would be in traditional kimono. So you can see how kabuki audience looked like at the end of 19th century here. So they will be sitting down, enjoying the meal, watching a performance, chatting with each other, screaming something to the stage. Pretty much you got the relaxed atmosphere, and the people who came there to have fun, they came for entertainment. So what do you think? Where to see kabuki? Where is the place to see kabuki?
I would say Tokyo and Kyoto.
Tokyo, Kyoto, where else?
Well, in Kyoto, still.
Yes. Tokyo, Kyoto. Kyoto, the first capital, Tokyo, the second capital, and one more big city. The same as last time. Bunraku comes from?
From Osaka.
Osaka, yes. So, yes, Bunraku comes from Osaka, but also you can see kabuki in Osaka. Nowadays, you can see kabuki in many places. However, the main theaters for kabuki are here. You can see Osaka here. You've got Kansai International Airport. If you fly to Japan, you usually go through Tokyo or through Osaka, through Kansai International Airport or through Narita or Haneda. So you can see the theaters are very close to the international hubs even now. We've got Kabuki Za means theater, so Kabuki Theater, Kabukiza Theater. We'll have in a moment, I will share the link with you. In Tokyo, we've got National Theater. In Kyoto, we have Minamiza Theater, and so on and so forth. You can write it down somewhere, might be useful at some point in your life. We've got a couple of categories for kabuki performances. As we mentioned, the kabuki plays, dramas would be more of a historical plays. But what is interesting, they would change the name, the historical name, into one that sounds similar, but it's not the same. So everyone will know who we talk about, but actually we're not using the real name. We've got domestic plays as well, and dance dramas. So it's not about ghost stories as in no theater. It's more of a love story, more of a everyday story. And we have new kabuki performances as well. New kabuki performances. And of course, we have anime kabuki performances as well currently. And we can see the influence of kabuki on anime and on television.
It has influences from bunraku.
And in how different this will be, how similar to kabuki.
The highly stylized movement is borrowed from bunraku.
Yes, that's for sure. And this is kumiodori, and the movement of the makeup from kumiodori can resemble some of the makeup done in Kabuki performance. Kabuki was developed previously to kumiodori, so Kabuki started earlier. Later, Tomogusuku Chiokun seen Kabuki performance and he created kumiodori. So we see the resemblance. And what are the characteristic elements of Kabuki?
It's strange, uncommon, and exaggerated. The colors are very, very vivid, very lifelike. And we have live music. The plot is based mainly on basic Bunraku stories, but also the domestic drum. And Kabuki goes with the times. It adapts to new technology and is very dynamic.
So we can see the traditional style, the movement adapting to new context, as we've seen in Star Wars. Well done. Next one, what was the link between Kabuki and prostitution?
Yes, there was.
Yes, and what kind of link was there, and why did we have this connection?
It started from prostitution. Prostitutes used to promote themselves in Kabuki. And also it was banned later on, but it had also to do with the content of the place because they were criticizing the government and modern then philosophy. And then it transitioned from young girls to old men as performancers. Yes.
Well done. Good job. So we have women, then we have young men playing all the characters, then we have the link with prostitution was still there, then we have older men playing all the characters, but the link of sponsorship of certain thing, of certain kind was still there. And it's important to notice that Japan was never a Christian country, so we have different tradition of thought. So there was not the gender fluidity was more welcome, that's for sure. So there was not a problem of any kind of people liking any gender, and it's absolutely fine. So later, after westernization of Japan, we could see the division between genders and whatever it brought, the idea of sin, the division of gender, that came with Christianity. But it's important to notice that Japan was never a Christian country, and it's not now. So we've got different tradition of thought. So Kabuki welcomed cross-gender performers, and we had the idea of star actor influencing the street fashion, influencing the people, how people moved, how people worked, how they dressed up. So what do you like the most about Kabuki?
I guess the fact it's a show. It's so nice to look at it and kind of stare in awe of everything that's happening on the stage. It's so wild.
Go on. Yes, well done.
I like that they are adapting the modern stories and try to. It's very flexible. This type of theater because they adapt everything. They can adapt almost everything to its form.
Thank you very much. So yes, it is a show. It is a show for ordinary people who would like to enjoy the time, eat some, eat some nice food, appreciate the actors who come there on stage. And this is the culture for ordinary people watching regular kind of stories. So what elements of Kabuki you can use in your performance? What do you think?
I think acrobatics, because acrobatics are so cool. I love watching acrobatics. I cannot do one myself, but I love watching watching it because it's very spectacular, and I love to see things I cannot do by myself. I think it's natural.
That's the play to see, actually. That's the kind of Japanese theater to see if you love acrobatics. You can have performances where very skilled actors. Anybody else? What elements of Kabuki potentially you will use in your performance, perhaps somewhere in the future?
I would say for myself, since I am not that athletic at all, so I guess what remains for me would be the makeup, which is astounding, because it just podkreśla the facial expression is, and it's so beautiful. Like a mask, but at the same time not, and it's amazing.
Perhaps, thank you. Perhaps you remember to the class, question to the class in general. Perhaps you remember, why do we have the red lines on the face? Where did it come from?
Because it indicates emotion, like strong vengeance, sense of justice, once.
Well done. Well done. It's from the idea of veins on the face, like pretty much when you're really angry, you will have veins on your face will turn red, and so on. But that is with the red makeup. How about the blue makeup? What that indicates?
Was it like the female ghost?
That's ghost in general. You mean the Hanya makeup? Yes, that's one of them. But the blue one in general, that means the person is not alive. That's a ghost. We can easily remember that. Red one alive, blue one not really. And brown, thank you, well done. And the brown makeup?
For demon and ghosts.
Yes, like monsters.
Supernatural things.
Yes, supernatural things that could be monsters in a way. So we do have that kind of stories as well, but they remain within the historical kind of context. Did we have any other type of makeup? Just brown, blue, and red? Anything else?
There's like also the indigo. For villains and evil spirits.
Oh yes, that was the blue one, indigo, yes. But do we have, there was one more, right?
The unique style.
Unique style, special features. Thank you very much. Unique style, special features. So today we talked about Kabuki. We talked about performances from 17th century, developed in the 18th century, and still developing today, because Kabuki is adapting to the new environment. So please consider this lesson an invitation to Kabuki to learn more in the future. So thank you so much for today.